Hi, my name is Jeffrey and this is my channel. I'm doing a quick little two-part review. It's for Lensrentals.com and then for the items I purchased from there. So first of all, Lensrentals.com. If you want to rent gear, it's incredible. I don't like to wait for things. I like overnight shipping. Their overnight shipping is the best overnight shipping experience that I've used from any company. And I shop from every other company. I won't say their names because it's not to badmouth anybody, but I like their company. Their shipping is incredible. Their customer service always answers. They're amazing. Number two, the way they package the items, they really take the time and care, and they have like these elaborate little packages, even for the simplest thing like a memory card, which is one of the items I'm going to talk about in a second. Three, their keeper program. You can rent an item and then keep it if they have it in stock to buy, which is what I'm going to do with my 160 gigabyte CF Express Type A card. And that's really awesome because you can use it, see how it works, and then buy it, especially because their items are really well graded and they're usually in awesome condition. And if not, they'll let you know in the description right there what it is. I love my experience with Lensrentals.com. Awesome. Now, the second item besides the CF Express Type A card that I bought from them is a Sony A7S III in 2024. Should you do it? My answer, yes. It's an incredible camera with an incredible sensor. The video specs, we all know. I won't bore you with that. The photo specs, I'm not really a photographer, so maybe that's not it wouldn't be the best thing suited for you. Maybe you want like an A7 IV, but for cinematographers, videographers, the A7S III is incredible. That sensor, I don't have to bore you again, that sensor is in the FX3. It just got used on a $90 million movie. Yes, I know that it took $90 million to put all of it together with travel and budget and locations and special effects and all the things that it takes and all the people costuming and acting. I know, but I'm just saying the sensor, the image, it can inspire you to at least have that image in your hand. I went with this over the FX3 because I just didn't want to buy the FX3 new. And this was $2,300 on Lensrentals.com in amazing condition. It looks literally brand new and the sensor's in perfect condition and everything functions perfectly. So that's a steal, especially because we might get an update for it from Sony in March or later. Now, they have only announced I think breathing compensation and 4K DCI. That's fine. But they might, I hear a rumor from other people and me trolling the internet, I hear that they might get a paid update that will have like anamorphic D-squeeze, variable shutter like it does on the FX series, the Cine EI menu, the Cine menu, excuse me, and the Cine EI feature. So it might get those items. And even if it's a paid update, I bought this camera for $2,300 on the used market. That's amazing because I'll still get all that stuff, hopefully sub 3,000. And then with good glass on it, it's an incredible value. That's such a great deal. I still wouldn't reach the 3,800 or 4,000 with tax of the FX3, especially because Sony has been releasing cameras like crazy and they might release a ton more this year. Now, one of those cameras they released that had me debating is the ZVE1. The ZVE1 has this sensor in it. Now, the thing about it is I'm a cinematographer or videographer, maybe as of right now, and I just don't want to go on a set knowing my workflow where I have to have my camera on all the time and I'm changing settings and I'm showing people images and I'm casting it out to a wireless monitor and then the camera says it's overheating. I can't have that because literally it would cost me the $500-600 I'm already making right there. That I don't have that kind of time to waste, so I couldn't go with the ZVE1. Now, if you're doing short form content, the ZVE1 is absolutely a professional camera because I hear people say it's not. It is. But that's only if you're doing short form content or if you have that fan that you can buy for it. Maybe it can extend your battery life a little more or at least the heating temperature time a little more. But I went with this because of the price and because hopefully it gets that paid update because I really don't know what Sony is doing. Yeah, I know what they're doing. They're trying to make a camera for each market where people can get in at different price points for each, for vloggers, for content creators, for travel videographers or photographers, cinematographers, cine people. I understand what they're doing, but then the cameras are overlapping each other and becoming confusing because you're not putting more expensive updates or newer updates in older cameras and more expensive cameras that people have paid $5,000-$6,000 for, or $3,000 or $4,000 for, and that's frustrating. But clearly they're doing that little update for the A7S III and another camera, and hopefully that means they're going to start at least thinking about this camera and other cameras that are more expensive and putting those updates in it. But again, lensrental.com, buy from them, rent from them. They're awesome. They didn't pay me to say this. They don't even know who the hell I am. They don't care. This is just me reviewing a good company. When people do good work, it's just good. Their customer service is good. Their shipping times are awesome. And if you don't necessarily want overnight, they also do. You can extend the date that you want and make it a little bit less expensive. But I like overnighting because I don't like to wait. But it is amazing. And I'm shooting on the A7S III already right now. I love it so much. It's in perfect condition. It looked better and performed better than the rating they gave it, which means that should give you comfort that you know they're rating their stuff appropriately. They know their gear. They know their users that are going to use it need to know that confidently their gear works. But yeah, in 2024, I'm going to go with the A7S III. Another thing, learn your gear. If you're a cinematographer, learn your gear. Learn your gear. Like, yes, it's good to try new gear because then you won't be surprised by anything, but learn your gear, because then what happens is further down the road, unless you're planning on starting your own production company, you're usually going to work with production houses and they're going to rent cameras for you. And if you're going to work with a director, they're not going to necessarily pick the camera you say just because you say. They're going to take the suggestion, but they're most likely going to have a camera that they like, or lenses that they like, or focal lengths that they already like, and you're going to have to work with that. So buying a ton of gear is not the smartest thing. Now, yes, of course you need to have your personal gear, especially when you're starting out, because most likely you're a solo shooter, but eventually learn the gear you have as a personal shooter, because I've gone on sets countless of times and people have all these cameras and all this crap and reds and all this, and they don't know how to use it. They're fumbling through menu systems. They're doing whatever. They just bought it last week. And I know my Sony so fast and I get the job done. And by the time you're still fumbling through menus, I have 30 minutes of footage already dumped on my computer. Yeah, I'm going to learn my A7S III for 2024. That's the camera I'm rocking with this year. I don't care if they release the A7S IV or the FX3 Mark II, which I don't understand what you would put in those cameras. NDs in 6K? Then just make an FX6 Mark II. And they already have NDs in the FX6. Like, you see, Sony would do things that I don't get it. In A7 IV, an A7S IV, excuse me, with NDs, or even more geared towards cine specs, that's just an FX3. I don't get it. I don't know. I would rather see them put more time into updating these cameras than making new ones, but I do understand they have different chips and different chipsets and stuff that's more advanced, like, you know, so I do get that, but I just wish they would update more of their existing lines as opposed to creating 1,000 more cameras. Like, I already think they have the cameras they need, and if they just update them, people can move through the ranks of that and then release a camera when it's really worth it. Like, okay, we're going to completely change the body on a camera. We're going to completely change the ergonomics of it. We're going to completely change the like, you know, the global shutter camera they released. That's awesome. Because that's exciting. Okay, a mirrorless camera with global shutter, that's awesome. That's worth a camera. But then they're just gonna release the Mark II with a friggin' thing that the first one didn't have, and that makes no sense. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm still a Sony shooter, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna learn this gear, and whenever I'm on other sets, I'm gonna offer the rental. If they wanna rent it, we can do that. We can rent other cameras, but I'm gonna learn my gear. So when I show up to shoot, if you wanna shoot with my personal equipment, you're going to know that I know my gear, and there's not going to be any lag between the idea and what you see and what you're getting. And we're going to be able to get the job done. So I'm A7S III for 2024. I'm going to learn this. And then maybe next year, when I save up some more money, maybe there's a few more interesting camera developments coming out this year. Maybe I'll go and switch to another camera or see what Sony is offering, or maybe step up the line in the cameras. But the A7S III is still an incredible camera.